You've seen him in all your favorite film and TV shows. Judd Lormand is here to talk about his most recent role as Lieutenant Eric Blackburn on CBS's SEAL Team, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everyone, welcome. I'm your host, Veronica Barriga, and you are watching Spotlight On, and I am here with the very talented Judd. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Perfect. So before we get right into it, tell them where we can find you on Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah, at Judd Lormand, JUDD LORMAND.
There it is.
On Instagram and Twitter.
Perfect. You guys can find me at Veronica B online, Instagram and Twitter. So I just want to congratulate you, by the way. I was very impressed by your resume.
Oh, thank you.
You have over 70 credits.
Yeah.
You've done quite a bit. The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Jack Reacher.
Yes.
Geostorm.
Yes.
I can't go through all of them, but these are the highlights. And you have shows like American Horror Story.
Yeah, that's right.
Vampire Diaries, Nashville.
Wow, yeah, you did your homework. That's awesome. Very cool.
The list goes on. But yeah, I want to, people probably recognize you the most from SEAL Team, would you say?
Recently, yes,
Yeah.
definitely, because we debuted in September.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I get mostly now is the SEAL Team deal.
That's amazing. So tell us a little bit, for those who don't know, I know it's such a huge, epic show on CBS.
Right.
It's doing really well. Tell us about the character you play. I know he's a tough guy.
Yeah, you know, he's a tough guy, but he's also, what I like about Eric Blackburn is that he's the thinker.
Okay.
So the lieutenant commander, he's a SEAL himself. However, he's in charge of planning out the missions, right? And also, he wants to make sure that his team gets the job done efficiently, safely, effectively, right?
Okay.
But he also has to answer to the brass who are giving the orders for the mission.
Okay.
And sometimes that's a tightrope there, you know what I mean? Sometimes
Yeah.
the guys on the team are like, that's ridiculous, we're not doing that, we need to do this.
Yeah.
And they can say that, but Lieutenant Commander has to...
You gotta be the bad cop.
Yeah,
I mean, not, or the bad
kinda,
lieutenant.
Yeah, that's right. It's a delicate balance
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you have to do. So, you know, not that the other guys aren't thinkers, because
Right.
SEALs by nature are,
Yeah.
you know, incredible thinkers. They think on their feet. They plan
Oh,
things
yeah.
out. It's incredible. But
It's amazing what they do, really.
right. But I'm more the middleman between the brass.
Strategizer, yeah.
Yes, the strategizer. Right. There you
It's like
go.
putting all the chess pieces and
Yes,
making it
yes.
work so you guys get that hit.
Correct.
So what is your favorite part about this role, would you say?
Wow, I think that my favorite part is probably the fact that a lot of people don't realize this, but we have so many actual. Our crew's got 40 plus veterans on it.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
No
I mean,
way.
from the bottom to the top, and
Oh,
that's incredible. First of all,
It really is, yeah.
and second of all, I think within that group of veterans, we've got a small group of guys that were Special Forces, SEAL guys, Delta Force guys,
Okay.
that are the consultants,
Mm-hmm.
and they are with us on set every day. They're in the writers' room.
Oh, wow.
To make sure that the authenticity of the show is is kept in mind all the time. And
Yeah.
so, you know, when you get some dialogue that just sounds like a foreign language at times, you can pull one of the guys aside and say, translation, what am I really saying here?
Oh, that's amazing.
And that's probably my favorite part is working with those guys. You know?
It comes across. I mean, the show doesn't miss a beat. I mean, it's
Right.
like
It moves quick.
everyone has consultants, but the fact that you guys have the crew on there, I believe that's extra special.
I think that's awesome.
It's
yeah,
amazing.
It really is. It's my favorite part of the show.
Oh, that's great. All right, so what did you do to get in the mindset? You know, but before you were on set and you had access to all these great men and women, what did you sort of do to get in the mindset of this role?
So going in, when we shot the pilot back in March of this year, earlier this year,
Okay.
you know, sometimes when you're doing a pilot, you don't have, I guess, the foresight, or you don't have the knowledge of the big picture sometimes.
Right.
But what I did was I contacted quite a few friends in the military.
Okay.
And talked with them about their duties when they served and when they were deployed.
Yeah.
And then specifically asked a couple of really good friends of mine, hey, did you have a lieutenant commander?
Yeah.
Tell me about him. And listening to their views was great. And it wasn't until recently on set for SEAL Team where I actually got to speak to
Okay.
some officers, and now I get their take on what they do. So I've got the two perspectives.
You got the two perspectives. Yeah, that's quite neat. So what is it like working on such an epic show? It's like a blockbuster film, really,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
is it? What's the atmosphere
It's
on
awesome.
set like?
I was actually telling someone just a second ago before we started
Mm-hmm.
that it's it's probably the most fun job I've ever had.
Okay.
Everyone, cast and crew, is just incredible to work with. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on the show.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it is. And then we watch the finished product, and it's like, oh my gosh. And it is. It's epic. It's incredible network television. It really is.
Yeah.
And so to be part of that, whether I'm a small part or a large part, that episode doesn't matter. Just to help tell that story.
Yeah.
Because the stories that these guys are telling are not just about the mission. It's about how do these guys, these superheroes, how do they go home and fit into
Right.
society? And it's so real that I'm just honored and thrilled to take part in that.
Yeah, you guys are doing such a great job.
Thank you.
So you have some other films, huge films. I was like, when do you have a day off? But tell us about LBJ with
LBJ yeah.
Woody Harrelson.
Yes,
What is
I was fortunate enough to get to work on LBJ a year or so ago when we shot it. It just came out recently. Rob
Okay.
Reiner directed, and then I got to do, play against Woody Harrelson. I was playing former Secretary of State Robert McNamara,
Oh wow.
which was awesome because I think as an actor that was the first time that I've ever got to play an actual historical figure.
Person, yeah.
And so it was a different type of homework. You know what I mean?
I can
Whereas-
imagine, yeah. You don't want to
Yeah.
really, people that know him,
That's
you want to
right,
sort
that's
of,
right. You have
I
to
don't know,
emulate,
give
yeah.
respect, but yeah, it was
Sure.
probably very challenging.
Yeah, I had to read his actual books that he wrote, and then get on YouTube and scour everything I could about that guy.
Yeah.
So that, as an actor, that was an incredible experience.
That's great.
And working with Woody was awesome too.
Yeah,
Rob,
he seems like a cool guy.
oh, he was awesome.
Like,
He was the best. He really was. Yeah,
Like, I would just want to have a beer with him. I would not
Yep,
even work with him,
yep.
just hang out.
that's it.
And how about Geostorm? This is another huge
Yeah, that was
success.
another big one that just came out. I worked on that, and it was interesting. That was shot back in 2014.
Oh
Down in New
wow.
Orleans, and so I was super psyched when it finally came out. I
Yeah.
played an assistant to the president's staff in that.
Okay.
Did scenes with Ed Harris and Andy Garcia and those guys. So,
Just fun.
yeah, Dean
can see you
Dean
light
Dean
up.
was directing,
You like
and it
to-
was
yeah.
and I'm in a conference room doing the scene, and it's Ed Harris, Andy Garcia, Dean
Yeah.
Devlin's directing. It was like I would have paid for this as a class. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
as
yeah.
a workshop. It was awesome.
You,
So-
what? Yeah, I mean, you ever have those moments where you're like, wow,
Yes,
right?
yes, I have them
it.
all the time, all the time.
What's your most memorable, like something that sticks out in your mind? I know you've worked with so many stars and on so many
Yeah,
sets.
recently I think one of the most memorable things was working with Tom Cruise on Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
And we were working in this diner in down in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got the pleasure of getting to, we're about to arrest Tom in the
Okay.
diner. And I go to arrest him, and I throw him on the bar and cuff him and all this stuff. And he says, before we roll, he says, yeah, just go ahead and lay it in there. Just do your thing. I'll go with it, because he likes to do all his own stunts. And
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, that's right.
And the prop guys come over and bring the handcuffs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're real handcuffs. And I was so nervous.
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
Because I've got to be the guy that throws him down and
And then
cuffs
you
him.
break his arm,
I'm
and then
like,
the production's
yes,
done.
Yes,
Oh my God!
I'm
I
the
can
guy on the
imagine.
news that cut Tom's wrist or whatever. Yeah. But it went great. That didn't
went
happen.
well.
And yeah, it was awesome. But that was certainly memorable.
Yeah.
Having to do that with
To do
Tom and
that.
him saying, "No, just go for it.
Just
Just
go."
do it." Oh gosh, here
You're
we
like,
go.
"It wasn't me, it was
And
my
you got to do it a
character."
million times
Yeah.
on film, right? So of course there's so much room for error, but
Yeah.
thankfully it worked out.
Yeah. Have you done your own stunts, or is that something
Yeah,
you
a
sort
little
of
bit.
leave to the?
A little
yeah.
bit. I mean, if it's something that I don't feel like I'm going to be in danger,
Yeah.
I'll volunteer. Because I like learning everything that I can. Anything
Goes
new is
into it.
awesome.
Yeah.
When I was on, I did an episode of Banshee a couple years ago,
Okay.
and got to do most of the fight scenes myself.
That's cool.
And then it came time to get shot, and I get shot with like a sawed off, right? So they blow this big hole in me, and I have to fall
Oh, wow.
in a hole.
Oh.
So everything up until that 6 foot drop into the hole, was no problem.
Oh,
But
wow.
I let the stunt guy do the big.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say.
Those guys are incredible.
Yeah.
I'm not one. I'll let him do
Let him do
what
the
he's
job.
good at. Yes.
There you go. Yeah, good thinking.
Right?
So this is very fascinating. Before this whole acting thing, you had some very interesting jobs.
Oh.
And they weren't like part-time jobs. They were like careers, really.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was, in Louisiana. I was raised in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in college, I wanted to be an actor.
Okay.
But I didn't want to leave my hometown.
Sure.
Because I loved my hometown so much. I wanted to go to college there. So I took a long time to do that.
Yeah.
Was in college on the very long program. When I was done, I was managing a Hooters restaurant for a few years. Then I
Okay.
left that and went to stock advisor, Edward Jones stockbroker.
So different. Yeah.
And then by that point, I was hearing that there was a few movies coming down to Louisiana to shoot.
Okay.
I'm like, you know what? Got my degree,
Yeah.
So I quit the investment job to dabble in acting, and I realized really quickly I need a nest egg.
Yeah.
I need some cash
Yeah,
to set aside
survival
because
money, yeah.
as actors may
how
have
it is,
experienced,
yeah.
most of us, that
Yeah.
the money's often dry in the beginning. So I went and worked offshore on the oil rigs doing a computer job
Crazy, yeah.
in order to save money to be an actor.
Smart.
And as soon as I saved up the nest egg that I needed to, I met my wife, got married,
Yeah.
had 3 kids, and then became an actor. So
That's
it
amazing.
was a weird order or a weird progression there. Yeah.
Weird sequence
Interesting,
of
though,
events,
right?
but yeah,
Yes.
it's very fascinating, and I love that you sort of did it later in life, because a lot of
Yes,
people think
yeah.
you have to, I just interviewed
No.
a 9-year-old, and she has, like 10 movies, so a lot of people,
No,
think
you got time. You
yeah,
got time.
that's very inspiring.
And I
to
think it's
hear
also
that.
great to live your life and do these things because that's more ammunition, more fuel for you as an actor.
Yeah.
Seeing people in different walks of life and not just dabbling in it, doing it.
Right.
Do those things because that's going to help you
You
later
get that
on.
life
yeah.
experience.
Certainly.
Yeah,
Certainly.
you weren't really working. It was like research for the roles you would eventually
Yeah, I had no
play.
clue, but it was. You're right. You're right.
All right. Well, I guess that's all the time we have here. They're wrapping us up. But where, again, can they find you on social media?
You can check me out on Instagram, Judd Lormand, JUDD,
There it is.
also on Twitter as well. But
Alright.
Instagram, I'm on there a lot.
Yeah, that's like
That's the
I
thing.
don't know.
It's-
That's the
it's
one
easy.
I like.
It's easy,
easier.
right?
Yeah.
I don't have to count characters. Just throw the picture, tag it, boom.
Exactly. I only joined Twitter because they made me.
Yeah, I know.
No.
The only thing I tweet are the Instagram automatic tweets.
there
That's
you
what I
go.
do.
And you guys can find me at Veronica Beat online. Thank you so much.
No, it was a pleasure. Thank you. Anytime.
Nice to meet you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.